so I can see you. Ruth's done something dead jazzy. You're going to be also impressed.
It all started off with a list of things I was going to talk about, and then it went, oh, and midnight finding the best pictures online and stuff. Oh, dear me. So yeah, my name is Ruth Olayinka. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist. I'm just going to move my screen a little bit there so people can see me a bit better. Yeah, I'm a clinical hypnotherapist, and I run a group called Collective. I don't know, I don't take much notice of it, actually, what the name is. It's a collective hypnobirthing collection of scripts where people write scripts and we fundraise, like we put money in and organize for other people who can write scripts, whether they're hypnotherapists or hypnobirthing practitioners or people who write relaxations, and they get paid to just a small fee to write a script which can then go into the group for others to use. You may already, if you're here, be a member of that group already. And if you are, hi. If you're not, I'll give you the details at the end. And I developed that group because certainly the hypnobirthing brand that I trained with, I was given these scripts and I was told I was not allowed to record it in my own voice. And I was like, well, hang on, no. I'm a hypnotherapist, so I don't need your scripts for a start. And I wrote my own scripts, which are now freely available on that group for anybody that's a member of that group to use. And also, I think that that people just have so many skills, you know, whether you're already a yoga teacher or a mindfulness practitioner or a hypnotherapist, or even none of those things. I think it's really helpful, particularly nowadays, that people are realizing that you can become more independent in what you're doing, and we can provide more than the resources that our original hypnobirthing brand provided for us, for our clients, to make what we do more bespoke for our clients, to make it more personal for our clients, so that we can really bring ourselves, because our clients are buying us after all, you know, they're investing in us and our knowledge. So in order to record our own scripts is kind of important, because it's our voice that our clients are hearing. It's your voice that your clients are hearing during hypnobirthing, during the course. And so when they're going and doing their relaxations, whether that's at bedtime or they're listening to it in the background while they're doing other stuff, that it's your voice as well, and there's that through line. So today I am going to take you through my meandering experience of recording scripts, which came from initially my background in theatre. I taught myself how to create soundtracks originally, which went behind theatre performances in schools and communities. And I've transposed all of that knowledge into what I do now. And I'm going to impart some very simple, these are some of the things you need to consider in order to get started as economically, as cheaply as possible with recording your own scripts for you. So, are you ready for me to do my magic thing? Here we go. You watch it not work now. Let's see. Then that one, share, press on that, open. Ta-da! So yeah, recording your own scripts, your essential guide to getting started. I do not class myself as an expert in this whatsoever. This has just been me self-teaching how to do this. We're going to talk about the tech you might need, the pros and cons of some things, the digital audio workstation, the DAW, whatever, where to find scripts, how to deliver scripts, how to prepare yourself to deliver the script into the microphone, and your environment as well, how to create an environment which is going to create the best recording as cheaply and as possible for you. And it's been years of discovery for me. Now I've got to a point where I'm recording scripts all of the time. So I've developed myself my own little recording studio behind me, which I can show you afterwards if you want to aspire to something a little bit bigger. And, you know, I've got lots of equipment, but when I started out, I had a laptop and a microphone, and that was it. So I'm imagining that this might be where some of you are now. So yeah, this is my own meandering experience of making tons of mistakes, because that's how we learn, isn't it? So the first thing we're going to talk about is the tech that you're going to need initially. And there are two types of microphone which you can consider. The first one is the condenser microphone. And this is the one that is most widely used in studio environments or for recording voiceovers and things like that, because it has a very rich sound. It's just a beautiful sound. The way that I'm not going to go into the tech of the patterns because I don't even really know. But the way that it works means that it just picks up all the little nuances of the voice. What else it picks up is everything else. It picks up the sound of the cars outside. It'll pick up the sound of your partner farting in the next room. It'll pick up the sound of your child going, "Can I have a biscuit?" Like when we first went into lockdown, I'd always use the condenser microphone, and we live in the countryside and it's really quiet, and everybody else was out during the day. When we went into lockdown, I went into meltdown with my condenser microphone. I was like, I can't do this. Halfway through a recording, going downstairs and saying, "Please, can we not close doors?" Like, it was just ridiculous. So if you know that you're not going to be able to control the noise outside and you can't block that out, if you know that you're going to be in a busier domestic environment, this might not be the microphone for you. This stuff can be edited out afterwards, but it takes time. Another option is to get a dynamic microphone. Now, there's some pros and cons of this as well. The dynamic microphone, with the condenser microphone, you speak into this part of it. You speak into this part here. With a dynamic microphone, you'll actually speak into the end. Now, it's not as sensitive. It's still a good sound, but it's not as sensitive. I'm just going to shift myself over here. But it will record quieter as well. It needs more power, and especially when we're only plugging it in as a USB, it's going to need more power. So you're probably going to need to turn up, increase the volume when it comes to production. But it also is less sensitive, so it's ideal for noisier environments. For all of my recording now, since this whole stuff began, you know what stuff, the corona stuff, actually use a professional dynamic microphone, because I've just found that my condenser microphone has just gone back in its box and gone away for now. It'll come back, hopefully. So yeah, there's a couple of things that you can consider with that. More things to consider with which microphone. So you can get a plug and play, which is a USB. You literally just plug it into your desktop or your laptop, and it will recognize it. This is by far the cheapest and the easiest. If you're going for a different kind of connection, I'm going to show you now. Actually, I'm just going to plug this out. If you're going for something that needs this kind of connection, you're going to need some additional equipment, and that additional equipment can start to get pricey. So initially, go for a USB. There's some really good brands out there. There's some really good quality microphones for a reasonable price. When I say a reasonable price, I'm talking sort of £60 to £100. Apart from this, though, if there's somebody else that can lend you a microphone, if you've just got one lot of scripts to do, borrow. You know, why not? Why not? We're a community. So condenser microphones. I'm not recommending any specific microphones here. These are just ones that I've heard people say, or ones that I know I've come across. Do your research. But with a condenser one, I've heard that a lot of people recommend Blue Yeti or Snowball. And they're a very reasonable price, and they're just plug and play USB. They also come with their own stands, which is nice. Dynamic mics, in my experience, I did have a little scout around and found Shure and Samson. They are both very good makes. And I've never used this microphone though. So I can't tell you, but I know that these are good makes, and on Amazon, both Shure and Samson within that price range have got good results. So yeah, but USB generally is what we're looking for if you're just starting out. I borrowed my first microphone from a friend who was a radio DJ and said, here, borrow this and see what you think. It's really, really good price. I think it's one of the top of the range for the price. And so that's how I got my first one. It was a recommendation from a friend. Now, when it comes to actually recording, so you've got your mic, you've plugged it into your laptop. We're going to talk about what you're going to record on in a little while. But then pretty much you're set up, apart from we're going to talk about environment as well. There's quite a few other things to look at. A lot of microphones will come with a foam filter. Now, a foam filter is great if it's going to be like in a really wet, windy environment, or if what you're going to be saying is really breathy. Ideally, what you're looking for a studio environment is to get an additional pop filter. You know, when you're speaking into a microphone, and when we say Peter Piper picked a pepper, pickled pepper, those they're going to create a kind of a bit of a sharp wind onto the microphone. This is going to stop that. It's going to stop that airflow from going through there. Therefore, the microphone is not going to pick up those P's and those T's. It's a very, very small investment to make for a very big improvement. But these ones are probably, I mean, you can still have one as well if you want, but they're not as useful. So in terms of pop filter or foam filter, in my experience, pop filter every time. By the way, this is being recorded, isn't it? So people are going to be able to watch this back and get these, like, see this again. Right, good. If your microphone that you buy has a little jack in it for your earphones so that you can live monitor what you're saying. So you've got your microphone, it's plugged into your laptop, you're recording it, and you can plug in and listen to what you're saying through it, use it, because it's then you'll know, you can hear straight away. And I know it's strange initially to begin to hear your own voice, but it's something that the more you do it, it's so much easier to get used to. Excuse me, hang on. So if you can monitor what you're saying, it means that you're going to be hearing exactly what is being said. Additionally, I find it helps me get in the zone. And some microphones allow you to play music at the same time. So you don't only hear your voice, you can also hear the music that you might decide you're going to lay onto this track. Listening to the music is additionally going to help you to get into the zone, if that's a possibility with the microphone that you've got. Whenever I'm recording, pouring trance, hypnosis, relaxation, whatever it is, into a microphone, generally, I'll not only be able to hear my own voice, but I'll hear the music that I'm intending for it as well. It's getting me in the zone, and getting you in the zone means that your recording it's going to have more heart. It's going to have more authenticity. It's going to help lead whoever's listening to it, your clients, to where you want them to be easier as well. So another thing to think about is your digital audio workstation. Now, there's two free ones: Audacity, which works with Windows and with Mac, and GarageBand, specifically for Mac. Now, I use Audacity sometimes to record. I'm not even going to go into some of the recording equipment that I usually record, because that's the stuff I used to use in theatre, and it took me a long time to learn it, and it's not free. Audacity is free, and it does everything that you need. So these are both good examples of free software that you can get online. What you're going to use these for is, first of all, recording what you want to record, changing the volume, so increasing the volume or decreasing the volume, overlaying any music over the words, or underlaying, whatever you want to call it, adding any effects if you wish. I don't generally add any effects at all. And also any noise reduction. So yes, thank you. Somebody said, oh, do you know what? There's all these people saying these comments. I've not even seen any of these comments yet. I'll have a look at the comments after. Yeah, Audacity's built-in noise cancellation is surprisingly good. Even with the software that I've got that's paid, I will always take my files into Audacity and use the noise reduction feature in there. Now, anything that you want to know how to do, you'll find it on YouTube. If you're not sure, you'll find it on YouTube. You'll find a 5-minute video. And once you know it, you know it. Additionally, in the group that I run, a wonderful birth worker called Anne Ball has done a how-to document with Audacity, and she's also done a video of how to use it as well. So if you want more information on that, then go to the group and find that. It's freely available information, and you can ask other people's opinions as well. So yeah, I only use Audacity for noise reduction, but most people that I know either use Audacity or GarageBand. Yes, Anne's guide is fab. It is fab. Do any of these work with a MacBook? GarageBand, I believe, will work with iPad and MacBook. I have Snowball mic and use it with a MacBook. Right, okay. Right, I'll have a look at these later anyway. I'll answer them as they're going past. Right, the backing music or the sound effects. If you want some nice gentle bird song or a specific piece of music that you would like your client to be anchored to, that they can then, when they're giving birth, go on to listen to, and it's anchored back to all of the wonderful suggestions and relaxation that that they've been practicing in their in the scripts that they've been listening to in the recordings. So make sure that the music that you use, you have permission and copyright to use it. There is a lot of royalty-free music that can be purchased, and you can use it once you have it and you've purchased it. You can use it again and again for your tracks. Some is really, really reasonably priced. Some is costlier. I went for the costlier a few years ago and bought 3 tracks, and I've never needed to buy any others. You'll probably spend more time than you expect choosing your ideal music. Firstly, because it's lovely to sit there and just listen to all this gorgeous music. And secondly, there's so much choice, and it's so important that it feels right for you, your clients, and what you want for them. For me, when I was choosing my hypnobirthing music, I chose a piece which really didn't do anything at all. It was very ethereal and drifty. And I also chose another piece which had a slight ritualistic beat behind it, because I thought, well, if somebody wants to move around during labor and is wanting to sway and move, then it was almost quite trance-like, this music. I don't think that it just needs to be kind of and doing nothing. And I gave my clients the option of having one or the other, and there was a real split. Some people wanted one, some people wanted the other. So maybe if you developed these scripts and then decided that you wanted to put this music behind them and this music, and then your clients can choose. But yeah, you will spend more time. You might lose a week trying to find the music that you want to use. Now, once you've bought your royalty-free music, and you can just type into Google, I buy mine from Enlightened Audio, which is an Australian composer called Christopher Lloyd Clark. And in the terms and conditions, most artists will expect you to embed their details in the details of the audio file. How to do this, and you'll be able to come back to this, so you don't need to remember it. Right click, choose properties, select that, like on the file, choose the properties, select the details tab to make changes to the file, make the changes and click OK. So this is the properties tab of any normal file that you would have, whether it's audio or whatever. And I've got here album artist Ruth Olayinka, and contributing artists, Christopher Lloyd Clark. So anybody who hears the music behind it and goes, oh, I really like that, they can find the artist's name, and also the artist is being mentioned in that. So make sure that you are fulfilling the T's and C's of using any royalty-free music as well. Right, preparing your environment to begin to record. Here we go. Top tips. Sitting or standing upright opens the lungs and allows the sound of your voice to flow without constraint. In a studio environment, you'll notice that artists either stand or they're sitting up on a stool. Because the lungs are open, it means you can take a deep breath and really use the most of the air and the sound that's flowing with the air through your lungs. If you're constrained like that, it's going to change your voice. You need it to be nice and open. Play around also with the distance between yourself and the microphone that you have. The closer you are to the microphone when you're recording, the more intimate the sound, the more richer the sound, the closer the person that's listening feels that you are. And at the same time, if you're too close, it can cause some problems technically where it can get too breathy, or you can begin to hear, I don't know, little kind of clicks or things like that of the mouth, maybe if you haven't drunk enough water or something like that. So play around with the mic for yourself, listening back and figure out how far away is best. For me, I'll probably be about that far away from my microphone. That's ideal for me with the pop filter in between. Make sure you're recording at a time when there is as little ambient domestic noise as possible. I have a very noisy neighbour, and he says, Ruth, if you're ever recording or you're seeing a client, just tell me to shut up. Tell me when you're doing it and I won't do anything. And he's very, very lovely. So if it is a time when the rest of your family has gone out to the park and you've got this whole hour, or just choose a time when it's going to be really quiet. Most people find that late at night. I find late at night is quite good as well if you're not too tired, because the melatonin is beginning to flow. That whole, it's gone dark, things have quietened down, and it's easier to get in the zone as well. So that's another reason why later at night is good. And also, if you live on a main busy road, then obviously that's going to be quieter too. And record in a place where in the environment will absorb and therefore deaden the sound. So, for example, a glass of water or my desk is not. The sound is going to bounce up back from that. However, if I had a duvet over my desk, the sound would be absorbed. When we go into, say, a bathroom where everything is porcelain or tiles or walls, and we do that, it's very, very lively. However, if we go into a den, like a blanket fort that our child has made, and we do that, there's barely any echo. It's a very, very dead sound. Studios put this sort of stuff up because it deadens the sound. And it makes for a much, 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 much better recording. And additionally, it's going to increase that sense of intimacy. The recording feels like the space is smaller and more intimate. Whereas if stuff's bouncing around, it sounds like a larger space. So for quality of recording, and once again, the richer, more intimate sound, we need to deaden that. But this stuff is expensive, particularly if you're going to put it over all of the walls. And I haven't done it because it's just too much, and I don't want to ruin my walls. So there's some other things that you can do, which I'm going to talk about in a second, which are very, very easy things that you've probably got everything in your house that you need to do it now. Another tip, keep your computer as far away from the microphone as possible to avoid picking up fan noise. Not to say that can't be taken out with Audacity noise reduction or anything like that, but if you don't need to, if you can get the best recording first time, do it. And finally, put your phone into airplane mode and lessen as many Wi-Fi signals as possible, as this can also be picked up as white noise by microphones. So, and that's just a very, very simple tip, and it means you won't be disturbed halfway through doing it as well. Okay, so let's have a look. Suzanne has said, I literally followed Anne's guide and it works. Oh, it's just so lovely for her to pop that in. It's so valuable for so many people with Audacity. Yeah. Right, next one. So DIY environments. These two top ones are some of the pictures that some people have shared in the group of things that they've done. This is a laundry basket with a cat bed. Yep, it is, and it works. It's deadened the sound. If you're going to use this, you're probably going to need something directly behind you as well, like a duvet hung up directly behind you, so that you've got as much of the environment as possible deadened. And this is what I initially did. I had got one of those IKEA boxes, you know, the fold up ones, and I bought a little bit of audio foam and I lined the inside of it, and I put my my microphone in there, and that was really helpful. And then I just got a bit fed up of sticking my head in a box, so I found another solution. Some things that, rather than even going to these levels though, something that you can do now is, you might already have a tent, or your child might have a play tent or something like that. You've probably already got duvets, blankets, I'm pretty sure you have. And you can actually just overlay those over the tent. So therefore creating kind of a thicker wall of density, which can absorb sound. You can even put some pillows. Sorry, I just hit my own mic then. You can even put some pillows in there, anything to just deaden the sound. And if you're reading from a script, this is something that I did, and it's genius. Whenever anybody asks me to record scripts for them, is get a safety pin and get one of those bull clips, whatever you call them, and then just clip that, pin it to the side of the tent and clip the script onto it. And you can do, if you've got 3 pages or 4 pages of script, you can just put them all alongside each other. There's no rustling of papers or anything like that. Another thing that you could do is you could just read it directly from an iPad, because there's no sound from iPads or any, you know, tablets or anything like that. So that's another thing that you can do. And a tent as well, it's kind of got enough height that you can sit up. The number of times that I did before I was a parent and I was making soundtracks from my home, that I'd just go and hide under a duvet, but I was all scrunched up. This is stuff that people generally have, or if you haven't got, it's cheap to get, easy to put up and put away as well. It's not taking up any of your house on a permanent basis. So once you've got your environment, you've got your tech, and you've got your digital audio workstation, and you're all set, preparing yourself to record. Dairy, mucus forming dairy. It gives you that, like, just not good, not good. Avoid dairy for at least 24 hours before you're due to record, because it's just kind of, it just clogs up the throat and can sometimes make that kind of funny sound. Additionally, drink lots of water, because if you're dehydrated, one thing that I cannot stand, and I know I've created recordings and it's happened and it's really annoyed me because it's been a great recording and I've listened back and I've gone, no, I can't listen to that, is somebody else's smacking of lips sound, because they are too dehydrated. Like, even on the radio, sometimes guests go on, it's like, oh man, you needed several glasses of water along with that coffee this morning, because you can hear it and it's just not pleasant. So well hydrated, avoid dairy for 24 hours before you're due to record. Additionally, get in the zone. Get in the zone, listen to the music that you're going to play. Look at the script and just read out loud to yourself part of the script, and just go with the flow. Maybe meditate for a bit, relax, rest. and just be in the environment where you're going to record. Because when you're relaxed and when you're in the zone, whatever comes from you is going to feel and be way, way, way more authentic. So during recording, so you're in the zone, you've prepared yourself well, you've got your environment, everything's there. Whilst you're recording, here is some tips for delivery and intonation that you can consider. Imagine your client there with you, that you're not delivering it to a microphone, that your client, and it might be a particular client, or it might be a group of clients, or it might be a client that you particularly remember that you've worked with in the past. Imagine that you are delivering the script to them, because then it's not just you and a microphone doing something very process-based. It's you. It's just going to flow and be directed and be more authentic to reach out to all of your clients if you're in that space of imagining that you're actually recording to you, that you're actually delivering to your client. So as though they're there. And pacing and leading. So when I was running theatre workshops on a Friday night, there was a Friday night youth theatre, and loads of really boisterous children would come along. And it was, they'd come in on a Friday night after having a whole week of school and probably goodness knows how much sugar. And they were like that, rah! And then, oh, sorry, bopped my mic again. And then they'd come in, and it was like, how on earth do we settle these guys down to begin a drama workshop? And actually what we do is we go, right, everybody, okay, so this is what we're going to do. Right, so today we're going to have a look at working with dreams, right? We're going to do some dream sequences and stuff like that. But before we do that, what we really need to do, and it's important to do, is to warm up, because we do that every week, don't we? So I invite everybody to come and get into a circle. And as you get into a circle, I wonder if you can put both feet on the floor and just ground yourself down into that. And when you're ready, you can take a deep breath. And on the out breath, you can just sit yourself down, because I'm interested to know. And then we'd begin. But we'd start, they'd come in and we'd start at their level of energy, and gradually pacing and leading, bringing their energy level down to a really, really useful place. So at the minute you start your script, rather than just starting with a very gentle and relaxed, slow voice, which can feel, I know if I suddenly come across and I'm not in that mood yet, it can feel a bit of a dissonance. Start at a conversational level for the first paragraph. Gradually bring the pace, the energy down, so that you're pacing and leading your client from a normal waking state, a normal everyday state, and gradually leading them into this more relaxed, more calm, more peaceful place. In terms of using your breath, sometimes scripts will say, take a deep breath in and let that go. Whenever we're talking about breath, you can pace and lead your client with this as well. So as you take your next breath in and release, this is another way of pacing and leading your client. They're going to hear that audible breath. Now, if you're going to do this, I would say do it away from the microphone, so you're not creating too much wind on the microphone itself. So take a deep breath in and release, so that there's not too much wind there. But once again, it's great for just pacing and leading your client with that. Even if you don't mention breath, even if during a script you just have an audible breath in and out, if you do that with a client in person, you'll notice 9 times out of 10 they will do it too, and you haven't even asked them to. So the likelihood is, if they're listening to it, that they'll take a deep breath in then anyway. Right, using downward intonation. Because if we say to someone, I wonder how easily you can relax, it feels like it's got a question mark at the end of it. And when something's got a question mark at the end of it, we kind of want to answer it. We don't want our clients to answer anything. We don't want them to go, am I relaxed? No, we want it to sound, to feel like a really gentle suggestion, a really gentle command. So I wonder how easily you can relax. And same words, completely different way for that to be received. Additionally, I haven't put this in actually, but it's just occurred to me that there might be particular suggestions within your script that you would like to emphasize. Now, if you do, you can do this by changing your voice slightly or emphasizing it in some way. So for instance, if you wanted somebody to, if the script was about somebody feeling more confident about birth, and the words were, and as you look to the future, at a time when you're preparing to welcome this little one into the world, into your arms, you know you can feel more confident about that now, can't you? Just marking that out with a simple change in your voice. So even before you begin to record, there might be specific things within the script that you would like to mark out even more. So you can highlight those and know that as you change your voice, that on an unconscious level, your client's going to be picking that up more as well. So yeah, just thought of that, remembered it. Talk even more slowly than you think you need to. And the best way to know if you're talking slow enough is to listen back to your own recordings. I know people go, I don't like my voice. The more you listen to it, the more comfortable it becomes. And it's okay to leave pauses. Our clients are having their own experience inside, and we don't know what their experience is, but we know that they've been directed into a really, really relaxed space. It's really okay to leave pauses for your client to do any processing, any deepening, whatever it is they need to do. You don't need to be talking all of the time. Remember, that music is probably playing, and that's probably enough for that period of time. So if it says in your script to leave a pause, leave a long enough pause. As you're reading the script, you'll probably do this naturally, but experience the relaxation of it for yourself, because a relaxed voice can only come from a relaxed body. So you're imagining your client there. So I just bopped my mic once again. It's in a really bad state. I'm going to move it. There we go. So I don't do that again. Yeah, a really relaxed, a relaxed voice can only come from a relaxed body. So make sure that you're relaxed yourself as well. Right, authenticity, your voice. Some people think they need to put on a different voice in order to deliver scripts. You don't. You've got a beautiful voice. It's amazing. It's fabulous. Your clients love it. Use your authentic voice. Your own accent, your own inflections, your own nuances, your own authenticity. All you need to do is keep your voice, but simply slow it down. Go down in the intonation, pace and lead, and just be authentic with it as well. And yeah, listen back, experience your own script. So that's the only way that you're going to know if they work. How to save time by recording in one shot, even if you've made mistakes. This is invaluable for saving time. Right, so you're in front of the mic, you're delivering your script, and you fluff your words, or you cough, or somebody has, your partner farts outside, right? And it's been picked up on the mic. So if that happens, stop, tap the mic gently, and then go from just before you left off. Because when that happens, when you come to find the recording, this was me yesterday in Audacity saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, And then I tapped the mic at this point, and you can see the wave pattern that happened, and then went back to voice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, this can simply be taken out. In fact, that whole mistake bit, that whole first bit, and that can be taken out. And this means that I'm able to find it much easier in post-production. It's so simple. Some people go, oh, I've made a mistake, I need to start again. No. That's how to waste your life. So just a simple tip there that I learned for myself really works. Right, finding scripts. There are several places you can find scripts. First of all, the Hypnobirthing Practitioners Collective Script and Resource Library, which you can join. You don't necessarily need to contribute. It's there for every member. We've got nearly 1,000 members in there now. I can't believe how much it's grown, and it's wonderful to have such a great community that shares all of these resources. Hypnotic World is online. They sell scripts for $4.99, or you can join if you wanted. Hypnotic World isn't the only place, I don't think. I've just put that there as an example. But I had a look yesterday, and Hypnotic World does have a few pregnancy and fertility and postnatal scripts available if you wanted to have a look at that. Commission your own. So if you wanted to go really independent and set up for yourself with your own scripts, you could commission a hypnotherapist or somebody that, I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be a hypnotherapist. It could be somebody who's just really confident in writing relaxation scripts, because there is a massive crossover between the two. And once again, you can ask, Laura Batten, I think it is, in the call, has done a fab workshop on how to write your own scripts. Yeah, Laura, if you want to deliver your details for that in the group again after this, or I don't know, wherever Caris is happy for you to share that, that's fine as well. Write your own. Now, you can write your own. You already read scripts all the time, so unconsciously, you'll have already picked up some of the patterns, some of the language, some of the structure that's used. So have a go. Like, there's nobody's going to go, oh, you're doing it wrong. Have a go is what I'm saying. Additionally, in the group, and also with Laura's course as well, you can gain some more knowledge, because there's some stuff in the guide section on how to do that. Yes, Laura. Okay, people talking to each other, right? Okay. So lots of advice on how to do that, on how to write your own scripts. Or there's a different level between writing your own script and actually speaking it straight into the microphone and improvising and recording it for yourself. Nobody else has to listen to this. Nobody else ever has to hear it. But if there's even a couple of sentences that come out that you go, wow, that was pretty good, you can use those. You can absolutely use those. And sometimes you might surprise yourself. When you get into the flow, you might surprise yourself as to exactly what comes out. I never write scripts anymore, because I find that unconsciously what develops and comes out is invariably so much more flowing than anything that I could possibly write. And I know that I've had years and years of experience, but nobody has to listen to it. Have a go, see what happens. You might surprise yourself. And additionally, when you're speaking straight into a microphone, there's software, I think, that can transcribe. I use a software called Dragon Speak, but it's quite expensive, but I'm sure there's other software that can transcribe things for you as well. So you can actually put them into script form. Yeah, your hypnobirthing school may be happy for you to record their scripts in your own voice, and it goes without saying, if you don't have permission to record a script for yourself, don't do it, because you might get yourself into all sorts of hot water. But just make sure you've got permission to use and record those scripts. So yeah, if you're not already a member of the Hypnobirthing Practitioners Collective Script Library, these are the details here. And yeah, that's the sum of my meandering knowledge, what I have learned over the years. I hope I haven't bamboozled everybody. You've got all of that to go back and look at anyway.
Thank you so much, Ruth. If you've got time, have you got time for a few questions?
Absolutely, yeah.
Cool. We did have a question in the Facebook group, didn't we, this morning?
We did.
I've got it here on my phone. I remember to look for it. She's asking, I think you just touched on it. Are you allowed to record your own script in your own voice if you're not qualified hypnotherapist? Or is it a guided relaxation different and therefore permitted?
There's a massive crossover between hypnosis and guided relaxation. There is a lot of guided relaxation in hypnosis scripts, and there's a lot of hypnotic language patterns in guided relaxation scripts. Some things have more hypnotic language in than others, but if we're simply dealing with things like helping people to relax, helping people to gain more confidence, helping people to gently let go of their fears, helping people to rehearse walking, entering the birth space and noticing themselves there, having a experience where they're using all of these resources. I think that, go for it. Go for it. Yes, you can. If, on the other hand, you have a client who has experienced the traumatic experience, unless you've done some training around it, I really wouldn't go delving into using any generic scripts for that sort of stuff. So really use your noggin about it. But for general hypnobirthing, for general hypnobirthing preparation, birth preparation, I would say absolutely go for it. And if your client needs something else, know when that is and make sure they get what they need. Thank you.
Jenny, is it Faye who's got her raised hand? Do you want to ask a question, Jenny?
Yeah, it might become more obvious when you kind of use the Audacity and things like that, but in terms of the background music, how does that work? Do you play it on another device, or do you play it through, as you're talking? Just how does that work?
For me, I will, what you mean when you're actually recording it and you're actually listening to it at the same time?
Yeah, so just
yes, yeah.
Back on, do you play it? Yeah, play this. Yeah.
Playing it, I think that when I had a USB, I played it through iTunes, and I would actually play it on the computer, and it would play through. I would then select microphone as the speaker, but also as the microphone as well. And then I would be able to hear the music through the earphones and my voice as I spoke into the microphone as well. As far as I can remember, it might be different with different setups, but I'm pretty sure that's what I recall doing in order to do that. Yeah.
The mic picking up the background music as well as your voice at the same time.
No, when you do that, then you just select it as the speaker. The microphone will only be picking up your voice because you're listening to the music through earphones. So it's not picking that up. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Okay. And then you can, but it just helps in order to just get you into the zone with that as well. And then you can add the music later when you're doing the audio production part of it.
Vicky's asked if we can have the slides too, if possible.
Yes, you can. I shall send you a PDF copy of that.
I'll share it in the group, Vicky.
Yeah.
Does anybody want to unmute yourselves and ask any questions?
Oh, thanks, Joan. She says I've got a really amazing voice to listen to. Oh, you're very
I was thinking that when you were talking, you automatically, you speak in a calm voice. You must have hours and hours of practice.
It's just me. It's just my authentic voice. So, yeah.
Somebody's asking about the little microphones that you clip on. Are they any good?
No. I bought a really good £50 one for plugging into my phone to record sessions with my clients. And for a start, anything that's clipped to you when we move can create sound. And additionally, I mean, this was a Rode one, and they're like, all of my microphones are Rode microphones nowadays because they're just my preference. And it's just gone away in a shoebox. So I would say if go with a dynamic or a condenser mic.
Joan, we could go halves. She lives about 2 streets away from me, so me and Joan could go halves and share.
Totally go halves. Totally go halves.
I could post it to everyone who wants to borrow it. We could all chip in.
Like sling libraries. We can have microphone libraries.
It could be a new venture, Ruth.
Kind of fun. Yeah. Okay. As we start, will it all get easier and seem less complicated? I worry I won't be able to keep up. Just follow the steps. I mean, and also, if it is all getting a bit overwhelming, just ask in the group. I'm always happy to answer questions, and there's other people with more experience who are happy to do that as well. The best way to do it is to get started. It feels like a lot. It might feel like a lot at the moment if you're just starting out, but just follow the steps that have taken you through today. So yeah. Do you want to see what I came up with for me eventually?
Yeah.
Right. This is mine. This is I hide my chair in it as well whilst it's not being used. This is my recording studio. It's got thick moving blankets. It's really quite thick, very, very heavy material. I bought a ring for a changing room and I've attached it to that. I've got my microphone in here, and I can stand in there, or I can sit on a stool. And I've got these little things here. So if you want to aspire to having something, then that cost me probably about £150. Make sure that you put stuff in the top as well, moving blankets at the top, because you need to be surrounded by sound absorbing material.
I've seen some people on Instagram, some of the kind of big names, and they build like a little pillow den. So they get the pillows off the sofa, make a little den. I like the idea of the pop-up tent. There's always a pop-up tent.
Yeah, having a structure, because I find that pillow forts can just collapse on you.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's just the way I build them, but
is there any questions I've lost up here? People talking about mics. We had a conversation, I think it was yesterday, about people who have trained with a certain company, I'm sure other companies, and they feel like they're quite new to the hypnobirthing world, and they feel like they were kind of told that they weren't allowed to do this. And obviously we don't know what they've signed and if the T's and C's with that company and things like that. But from what I remember, when I trained 2.5 years ago, they encouraged you to use their brand all the time and use their things, but I signed nothing saying, I had to. And I think it's the confidence that people can do their own thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the reasons that I set up the group, because for me, having that independence was so important. I did write my own scripts, as I said, they're now available for anybody to use in the group if you want to just use those as your main hypnobirthing scripts or as some additionals. But I think in our hypnobirthing businesses, it's so important that we feel authentic. And if you are a part of the brand and you are, or a brand, and you are connecting with that stuff and that's enough for you, then that's great. And if you want to keep that and do something additional, then that's great too. And if it's not connecting with you, your clients aren't going to be connecting with it either if you're not. So find the stuff that does.
I think me and you were talking about this when we had a phone call, saying how people are used to us. They've worked with us for 8-10 hours, and we're giving them all that support. And then for them to listen to a woman they've never met, or a person they've never met, it's quite.
Yeah, it's unusual. It's unusual. Yeah. So yeah.
Thank you so much. That was brilliant.
You're welcome.
It really was brilliant.
It's been lush. I've really enjoyed spending time with everybody, and come and join the group. In fact, you know what? Am I all right to just pop a link to the group?
I'll put it in the Facebook group when because I'm recording this. When I pop it in, I'll put the link as well.
That's perfect.
And you're in the group, so if people want to ask you questions, they can.
Yeah, go ahead. If there's anything else that pops up later, feel free. Yeah.
Charlotte, what about doing your own handbook to go along with the scripts? How hard is that?
What do you mean specifically by handbook?
Hi, sorry, I thought it easier if I come off mute. So what I mean is, with the brand that I'm with at the moment, we can purchase like it's almost like a book for the parents, and it goes through everything, and then you also give them a handbook of the sessions. So what I was hoping over the next kind of year while I'm starting out is to create my own handbook of the sessions to give to the parents, but then also like a book to be able to give them as well. But how do you go about doing that? Because obviously I know with my brand I can't really buy the book. Are there other hypnobirthing books out there that we can buy without having to then sell that person, if that makes sense?
Yeah, it does. I mean, for me, when I was running sessions, is I would have a reading list and a recommendation of books, and I'd also provide a book, which changed throughout whilst I was teaching as well. I'd kind of changed my mind about which ones, and I never really created a whole handbook. Rather, what I had was snapshots of exercises that we'd covered, breathing, explanations of breathing techniques, maybe something to do with positions. But I didn't really call it a handbook. It was just a set of resources that they could go back to. I know that with my own experience of being handed a really thick handbook, I was like, ah. And I pretty busy and didn't really have time. But that's, I don't know, it's just such a personal thing. Some people go onto Canva and create this whole amazing, like, looks really professional thing. So I might not be the person to speak to about handbooks, but Charlotte, if you want to ask this question in the group, I think there's already been a question asked, and I've put it in the guides as well, so you can maybe see what other people have said or ask the question fresh for yourself if you like. I don't feel like I've answered that for you, Charlotte.
I think I've been having lots of these conversations, and I think there are some in this event group as well, where when somebody's trained with somebody, especially if you're kind of maybe in the first couple of years, you do feel like you have to give their stuff, but actually you don't, and you can do your own, you can create your own, you could do PDFs and email PDFs if you're doing Zoom with people around the world. And yeah, people like the Birth Uprising, Abby does a conversion course, I'm with the Mindful Birth group. There's loads of kind of, they're all emerging now, and then if you can do a conversion course with them, and they provide a lot more resources than, I don't want to say the name, but the original training companies that you may have been with. Charlotte, if you wanted to ask that in the Facebook group for the event.
Yeah, that's brilliant. It's more that I don't want to get myself into, like I said, hot water if I kind of steer away, which is kind of what I want after coming on this course and seeing how freeing it is to be able to do your own stuff. I kind of want to move away to be able to do that, but then like with your own scripts and that, I then don't want to be handing out the hypnobirthing book that comes with the brand. But I didn't know whether you could just kind of Google a hypnobirthing book that goes through the same stuff and just give it out, or whether you then get in trouble for doing that.
I'd check what you've signed, Charlotte, to be honest. I can't comment on what brands' terms and conditions are, but yeah, I just have a double check of what you've signed.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Righty ho. Thank you so much, Ruth. This has been, honestly, I've made so many notes. It's been pretty amazing.
Oh, it's been good to be here. Thank you. Nice to meet everybody. And
we're all going to have one of these shower curtain recording tents.
It's not a shower curtain. Yeah, but one day, get your own booth. And also, it's great to hide from your family. It deadens all the noise of the family out. And I've even got a light in there. I go in there to read sometimes.
Like a little cave.
My own cave, yeah.
Right, I'm going to go. Thank you all so much.
Much love.
And I'll speak to you all soon. Just a quick reminder, who are here, we've got another session tonight at 8, Ruth, you're welcome if I'm not busy. And I have said it, this is quite a special thing. So I recently invested in a business coach, and she doesn't usually do events, but because I think she felt like she had to do me a favor. But she's amazing. She really is amazing. So this is access to a business coach who is well known and has a good reputation. So she's doing a Q&A, and she's a really warm, lovely person. So it's all about wholehearted and seasonal marketing. So thinking about the moon and thinking about your cycle and things like that. So do come along at 8 if you can. And if you can't, please email me some questions that you'd like me to ask, because of course it's going to be recorded. Thanks.
Thanks, everyone.
See you later. Thanks, Ruth.
See you later. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.